What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, Blue Blood Sports TV, back at y'all with another one. So, coming off of a very, very impressive 9th round stoppage victory, that being none other than the towering inferno, Sebastian Fundora, who has 19 wins, no losses, 1 draw, 13 wins by way of knockout. He's 24 years of age, 6'6" with an 80-inch arm reach. He defeated junior middleweight title contender, superstar boxer, ERICKSON the Hammer LUBIN, and he faced adversity in doing so, okay? ERICKSON LUBIN is now 24 wins, 2 losses, no draws, okay? ERICKSON LUBIN is 26 years of age, 5'9.5" with a 74-inch arm reach. He faced adversity. He was knocked down in the 7th round of the fight. He dropped ERICKSON LUBIN with a beautiful uppercut in the 2nd round of the fight. He was taking big punches, but he was dishing out big punches, right? And ultimately, in the 9th round, he was pummeling ERICKSON the Hammer LUBIN. And Coach Kevin Cunningham, he saw enough and he waved in the white towel. ERICKSON LUBIN suffered some serious injuries, broken nose. It's being reported that he possibly broke his jaw, and he separated his shoulder in the fight, right? He's a southpaw. ERICKSON LUBIN has power, the Hammer. That's why his nickname is the Hammer, okay? Well, Sebastian Fundora, too, is a southpaw. Now, ERICKSON LUBIN, he faced another guy that Sebastian Fundora has his sights set on. And that's 2-time junior middleweight world champion, superstar boxer, who currently is the unified junior middleweight world champion, that being none other than Jermell Charlo, right? Now, Jermell Charlo and ERICKSON the Hammer LUBIN, they fought back in 2017, and April of 2017, and Jermell Charlo, he knocked out ERICKSON LUBIN in the 1st round, okay? Beautiful uppercut on the inside. Oddly enough, that's the punch that Fundora continued to hit ERICKSON LUBIN with all night. Choppy little hooks on the inside and uppercuts on the inside, right? And Jermell Charlo, like a check uppercut hook on the inside, knocked out ERICKSON LUBIN in the 1st round of their 2017 highly anticipated fight. And Jermell Charlo is now 34 wins, 1 loss, 1 draw, 18 wins by way of knockout. He'll be 32 years of age next month. He is 5'11" with a 73-inch arm reach. With that said, Jermell Charlo is going into a highly anticipated undisputed showdown May 14th, okay, and it's a rematch against undefeated WBO junior middleweight Argentinian star boxer Brian Castano. Okay, the first fight ended in a draw. Many people, they felt like Brian Castano should have gotten a nod, but it was a very close fight, entertaining fight. Jermell Charlo hurt Brian Castano a few times in the fight, and then, Brian Castano, he was very active, backed Jermell Charlo up on the ropes, so on and so forth. With that said, Sebastian Fundora was highly impressive, okay? He completely proved me wrong. And I'm sure he proved a lot of boxing pundits and media members wrong when Sebastian Fundora, who is 6'6" with an 80-inch arm reach, always gets labeled with, giving up his advantage, his height and his reach, okay, wanting to fight on the inside. And that was always the knock on Sebastian Fundora, that being at 6'6" with an 80-inch arm reach, why are you giving up your height on the inside? You should be boxing on the outside. Well, against ERICKSON LUBIN, he showed that his strength is to box on the inside, and that his vulnerability is to box on the outside, because ERICKSON LUBIN had his most success on the outside. Now, he did have success on the inside when he caught Sebastian Fundora, with some big punches. But for the most part, LUBIN's advantage was on the outside, okay? You can see his punches coming because his arms are very long and he's very rangy. So you can see his punches coming from a mile away, and he's not very quick. He's not very athletic, okay? So when he throws his punches from distance, you can see his punches coming, as Lubin was seeing his punches coming, and you could get underneath his punches, and you can counter him, right? Because he's not very fleet-footed, right? He's actually very flat-footed. So you can counter him, especially to the body, and start to break him down. Well, with that said, you know, he's very confident, and now he stated that he believes Jermell Charlo will make the adjustments from the first fight. He believes Jermell Charlo is the bigger, stronger, better athlete, the better boxer than Brian Castano, who's 5'7" with a 67-inch arm reach. He stated that he believes Jermell Charlo is going to win the fight. He's not going to predict how, if he's going to knock out Brian Castano and win by decision, but he's picking Jermell Charlo to be successful against Brian Castano. And then he says he's going to fight Jermell Charlo, which he, after beating Lubin, he became the WBC mandatory interim champion, okay? So he's the mandatory for the winner of the fight. And he stated that he has the perfect style, and he believes he's going to knock out Jermell Charlo, okay? He believes he could stop Jermell Charlo, okay? He thinks he has everything it takes to beat Jermell Charlo. Now, 6'6", he has a 7-inch height advantage over Jermell Charlo, and he has a 7-inch arm reach advantage over Jermell Charlo, okay? And he doesn't have an edge in power over Jermell Charlo. And his advantage is the inside, where I think he's going to come up short against Jermell Charlo. Very good fight. He's very confident. I believe it's going to be entertaining. Jermell Charlo has shown that he struggled with a jab, right? Sebastian Fundora doesn't use his jab very much. He does have a jab. It is accurate, you know, when he does use it. Obviously, he's very rangy, but he's not very quick. Jermell Charlo showed he struggled with the pressure style of Brian Castano, allowing himself to be backed into the ropes by Brian Castano, and he struggled with the length and the boxing ability of Tony Harrison. But Sebastian Fundora does not have the same attributes of Tony Harrison. Tony Harrison has extremely long arms himself, at 76-inch arms, at 6'1". Okay, so he's tall and rangy himself. But Tony Harrison is a far better boxer than Sebastian Fundora. He's far more athletic. He's far quicker, and he has arguably the best jab in boxing. It's a very stiff, very tough, very hard jab. Okay, it's almost like a lead right hand. Okay, his jab is very stiff and very heavy. And so with that said, you know, I believe that Tony Harrison is the best pure boxer in the junior middleweight division. So that's where the struggles came in. That's where the loss came in on the part of Jermell Charlo, but he avenged that loss in the second half because of his ring IQ, okay? Jermell Charlo is not going to allow himself to be in the same position ERICKSON Lubin was in, okay? I know a lot of people are looking at the fight with ERICKSON Lubin, and, you know, he just, you know, pummeled ERICKSON Lubin, right? But ERICKSON Lubin, he waited for the receipts. He stayed there and waited for the answer, okay? Every time he caught Sebastian Fundora with a combination, right? He would stay right there in the pocket and wait for Sebastian Fundora to respond to him with a high guard on the inside, and he wasn't very effective with the high guard on the inside, okay? So he was waiting for Sebastian Fundora to respond to him with a high guard, right in the pocket. He would throw a 3-punch combination, land 2 of the 3 punches, clip him, and instead of using his advantage, using his legs, he was impatient, okay? He was trying to hurt Sebastian Fundora, trying to prove a point, and he would stay there with the high guard, and Sebastian Fundora would clip him on the inside with hooks and uppercuts on the inside, and he was getting hit clean with those hooks and uppercuts on the inside. That's not going to be the case with Jermell Charlo, okay? Jermell Charlo is not going to sit around and wait for the receipts to come back from Sebastian Fundora and just be standing there flat-footed in his chest with a high guard. That's not what Jermell Charlo is going to do, okay? If Jermell Charlo is touching Sebastian Fundora, Jermell Charlo is going to move around the ring. He's going to operate around the ring. He's going to use his ring IQ. He's going to use his ring savvy. He's going to use different looks. Okay. He's going to use his jab. And more importantly, when ERICKSON Lubin was going to the body of Sebastian Fundora, he was having success. Okay. If he would have stayed patient and stayed with it to the body, he was throwing hooks to the body and opening up the opportunity to throw uppercuts. Sebastian Fundora was leaning, he was leaning over his front foot. So he was, every time Lubin was going to the body, boom, boom, with hooks, he would put his weight and lean front foot heavy, put his body weight over his front foot, which presented the uppercut for Lubin. But Lubin didn't stay disciplined enough and stay consistent enough going to the body. He started going head hunting, right? He was leaping and leaving his feet at times with the hooks. He was leaving his feet with straight right hands, right? Just trying to, and he's a southpaw himself, just trying to clip Sebastian Fundora with something big to the head, opposed to staying disciplined, going to his body, chopping down the tree, and forcing Sebastian Fundora to lean forward, and then, you know, feint to the body, and then come back up with the uppercut. Jermell Charlo will do that. It's going to be a completely different affair when Sebastian Fundora gets in the ring with Jermell Charlo, okay? Just like I stated, Jermell Charlo is going to present a completely different challenge to Brian Castano in this rematch than he did in the first fight. If you watch the first fight, Jermell Charlo on the inside and in the middle of the ring was having his most success. He allowed himself to be backed up to the ropes, okay? He allowed Brian Castano's pressure to back him to the ropes. He started taking unnecessary steps back instead of standing his ground, which is something he will absolutely not do in this rematch, okay? And so when it comes to Sebastian Fundora, I believe that Jermell Charlo is going to beat Sebastian Fundora as well. The challenges that Lubin presented is completely different from the challenges Jermell Charlo presented, and Jermell Charlo adjustments is going to be far better than ERICKSON Lubin. But it's going to be an entertaining fight of the year candidate type of fight. So let's see how this unfolds and plays out, because Tim Tszyu out of Australia is the WBO mandatory. So Jermell Charlo wins this fight, he's also going to be on the hook to fight Tim Tszyu. So let's see how this unfolds. But that's all I got for y'all. Make sure you hit the like button. Drop a comment in the comment section. Let me know what y'all think. Y'all already know what it is. It's your boy Blue, Blue Blood Sports TV. Peace.